Understanding holistic wellness, allopathic approach versus holistic approach.
This is part 2 to that allopathic versus holistic video that I made a couple of days ago. This is going to be more in depth. It's going to be longer than a minute and 30 seconds, which is a reel, but it will start as a reel. And if you want to watch the whole thing, you can go to my YouTube or my TikTok or go over to the Facebook page and it'll be pinned. Anywho, let's get started. So I'm going to walk you through how to change your mindset from an allopathic approach, which, like I said in the other video, is kind of how we've been conditioned to think, because that's what the modern medical system does, to a more holistic approach. So we're going to walk through a couple of things and kind of get you thinking more whole body approach, right? All right, stop to screenshot it. And then I'll also have this linked in the comment section where you can download it for yourself. Alright, so if you saw on those slides, like I said, you can go down to the comments. There's going to be a link where you can download all these things if you need to. With the allopathic approach, symptoms are viewed as bad, right? So you go to the doctor because you have a symptom, and they give you a medication to treat that symptom. The symptom is what needs treatment, right? They don't look any further than that. But with a holistic approach, symptoms are good, and they're viewed as like evidence that there is an underlying problem, and then you want to analyze that symptom to try and find what the root cause is. Your treatment is going to be targeted to the root cause and not the symptom. Now, like I said before, there are occasional times where you will need to practice allopathic herbalism, right? So really high fever you need to get down, something like that, or you've got a really bad cough that's just irritating you, keeping you up, you can't get any sleep. That would be at a point where you would need to use an allopathic approach, right? But overall, with something more in depth, say you're having sleep issues, right? That's something that you're going to start evaluating different parts of your life to try and find a root cause, and then you're going to target your treatment for the root cause. So now let's talk about the difference between an allopathic approach to illness and a holistic approach to illness. So with allopathic, typically illness is just illness, right? You get your diagnosis based off of your symptoms, usually. So you have this set of symptoms, they're going to diagnose you with this, and then they're going to treat you with a certain parameter that they have outlined somewhere in medical literature. Oh, well, if you have this diagnosis, use this medicine. And they don't really look any deeper, like, is that medicine going to work for you? Is that really what your diagnosis is? So when you're talking about holistic medicine, illness is looked at differently. So illness is looked at as like a very highly individualized reaction to some sort of imbalance in the body. And I think that's what I love so much about it. So you're not lumped into one specific group based on your symptom, right? So when parts of your body start working separately, it kind of throws things off. So illnesses can pile on top of illnesses, and you might be treating this symptom with this medication, but it's making this other illness that you have flare up, and they don't even know about it, right? But with holistic medicine, treatment is normally treatment, and then like any lifestyle recommendations, they're going to differ from person to person based on things like your energetics as a person, your health history, your lifestyle, any diagnoses that you might have, whether they've been confirmed or not confirmed, they're going to be taken into consideration when thinking about different things to get you to try, right? So with the holistic approach, you're not just put in this category, right? Your practitioner or your clinical herbalist or whoever it is that you see, they're going to ask you several questions. They're going to ask you, what is your sleep like? Are there any other symptoms, even if you think they're not related? Like, if you've messaged me, you've probably got these questions from me because that's what I do. What are you eating? There might be something you're eating that's not agreeing with you. What supplements are you taking? What other medications are you taking? And you have to take all of these things into consideration when you're really trying to find the root cause, and effectively treat it. So it's not just, here's a symptom, here's a medication, or here's a symptom, here's an herb. That would be allopathic herbalism. But with holistic herbalism, you're digging deeper. All right, so with diagnosis, with the allopathic look at diagnosis, it's very doctor oriented, right? So you go to the doctor with the symptom, they look at your symptom, address the symptom, give you a diagnosis based on your symptom, and then it's, what is this doctor going to do? Are they going to run different tests on me? Are they going to give me a medication? What is the doctor going to do? But the holistic approach is much more patient oriented, if you will. They're going to, like I said, consider all these lifestyle factors, your sleep, your mental health, your physical health, your diet, all sorts of things. And then it's very much patient oriented. What is the patient going to do? Because I can tell you, hey, you need to cut chips and processed sugar out of your diet, but if you're not willing to make that change, that's on you. You know, I can't make you any better if you're not willing to make some changes yourself. And then also, like, some people don't want to drink a bitter tea because it's bitter, right? There's things that I can recommend or a practitioner could recommend that could help you, but if the patient themselves is not willing to make these changes, they're likely not going to see any results. It is very much not allopathic. It's not, this herb for everybody will fix this. It's based on what we've discussed, what your underlying conditions are, what your other symptoms are, what your lifestyle is like. These are the recommendations I think that you should take, and you will see some improvement. But if the patient doesn't follow through with it, or they're not willing to do it, patient oriented. Okay, allopathic approach to symptoms is very reactionary, right? So you get a symptom, you go to the doctor, they look at the symptom, then. There's no thinking ahead to the future on, oh, this could happen in the future, so maybe we should go ahead and try something different, right? If a side effect from a medication they give you for that symptom emerges, you go back to the doctor and you get your medication changed, right? But a holistic approach is very preventative, so it's looking ahead into the future. The ultimate goal is to maintain health from the very beginning, supporting it from multiple angles, like I said, diet, lifestyle, sleep, supplements. Holistic medicine, ideally, if done correctly, works without any negative side effects, right? So if you're taking the correct dosage for the correct diagnosis. Now, there are times where you might have an adverse reaction, so you have an allergy that you didn't know you had, no one knew you had, or your practitioner was kind of off on what they thought. Like maybe they thought it was this, but you start taking that medicine, it's not really working, or your sleep gets worse, so you're doing something for sleep and it isn't working. Maybe their thought process on what the underlying root cause is off, right? So there are times that there is a negative reaction. But if done correctly, if you get the correct diagnosis, if you really dig deep and find the correct root cause, and you take the herbs at the proper dosage and you make the lifestyle changes, there's no negative reactions. That's the benefit of holistic medicine. Okay, we have reached the end. We are at medicine, okay? And this is by far my favorite part, because a lot of the reason that many people look into natural medicine is because they're done with big pharma, right? So allopathic medicine is typically made in a lab. A lot of the time it's synthesized off of a constituent in a plant, but what they fail to recognize is that all those other constituents kind of help it work. And when you pair that constituent with harmful chemicals that you can find in medications that are either over the counter or prescription, they have a negative impact somewhere else in your body, right? So like Tylenol, bad for your liver. metformin, bad for your whole body. So holistic medicine are usually, they're low dose natural options. So it's grew in the ground, or it's a fungus, and it was already here. It was put here on earth. Now there are times that, you know, they could be dangerous if you take them at too high of a dose, like lobelia. You have to be very careful about lobelia. What is the other one? Bone knit. Bone knit is actually really hard on your liver as well. Usneic acid. If you take it every single day at high dosage, it can be bad for your liver too. Now you have to take them in proper dosages, right? But if taken in proper dosage, it's not going to do to you what chemical medication is going to do to you. And then the herbs work by addressing the problem our symptoms are alerting us of, and refocusing that energy from creating problems, creating symptoms, to spurring natural healing processes. So they help your body heal. So it's not that they come in and fix the problem, and if you stop, it's like they help your body start to heal itself. They support the body in healing. And I just think that's wonderful. And so that's kind of the reason that I started looking into holistic medicine, because I'm not with it. I'm not with taking Tylenol and absolutely wrecking my glutathione levels, and then anything that I eat just can't get detoxed from my body. So that's the difference there. And that is all on this little slide. If you want to download these little slides, I'm going to put them in the comments. And then I'm also going to link like a post, a written post that you can download. These will be in PDF form, free to you. I hope you learned something. I hope that this kind of helps you start taking a more holistic approach to things. Start looking at the bigger picture instead of just the symptom. And maybe together we can grow. Thank you.